My man, thank you.
I hadn't personally skated at Baltimore, and well, at least Baltimore Street in a very long time. I only gone for Charm City Skate Park, which is basically an indoor tundra that you would go to skate when it's snowing or raining out and you have literally no other options. That's actually the closest skate park probably to us on the whole entire East Coast besides Woodward. Nick started doing research on spots, and I knew about a couple that I wanted to hit. But we do spot searching, like little, probably, I mean, I bet everybody does it the same way. Like, we go on Google Maps, we find stuff, like hope it's a thing, and like have an address, we drive to the address. Nick had a bunch of those for Baltimore, where it's a pretty interesting place when you run in there. There's like blocks and blocks and blocks of abandoned houses and just vacant areas, and essentially it's like a whole city with nobody there, and it's kind of rough in some areas. That being said, with all the rough areas, what is there? There's always great skate spots. There's always fantastic stuff to skate. And we had actually made multiple trips this time. We went once in February, then I think once again in March. And we were going to make a third one, but we never got around to it. And we also wanted to do DC, but that's going to be for DynoVfr. With this one, Nick wanted to warm the legs up at some like abandoned skate park. Gigantic snake run, essentially. It definitely was built in the 70s. Definitely has been there forever. And, you know, we messed around with it for a little bit. Graffiti everywhere. Cool to see that something like that exists and has been there for so long. And usually, like, by that time, they would use it for land or something else for now. So we're driving around the city, and we get into this one neighborhood, pull up to a stoplight, comes up to a car and goes, "What are you guys doing here?" And we're like, he has a full ski mask on, you know, typical young guy stuff. And he's like, "You guys are cops, right?" We're like, "Nah, like we've heard that before," because we just, you know, like two guys like rolling around the hood, looking around, like stopping at stop signs, looking in places. They're like, "What are you guys doing?" And I'm like, "Nah, like I'm filming a skate video, you know, you wanna shout the video out?" And he like kind of didn't say anything, and then we looked to our left, and there's a man with like a Kermit doll walking around, and you know we asked him to give a shout out.
Do you shout out DynoVfr for us?
So we
DynoVfr.
Yeah, that's them.
My man, thank you.
Thank you.
Does. And then the other dude kind of dipped off because maybe he thought we were actually cops, or maybe believed us. And then we just continued our way till the next spot. The characters that you see when you're out skating. And actually, I think that was actually around Marlo's hangout, which is, if you have seen The Wire, which is like one of the main reasons Baltimore is famous for. We went to Marlo's hangout, which essentially is nothing. It's like a big giant concrete circle that you can kind of like, I thought it would be a lot better than it was. I thought you could ride up and grind it and do stuff like that, but you can't do that at all. On the one side, it was really steep. I was like, I could just mess around. I did like a little zero spin. The hardest thing about that was like trying to make it not awkward, and I think I did switch grab too. That's more of a, you know, you're just muscling your knees and your thighs to try to get up something and trying to make something happen. I just wanted to get a clip on Marlo's spot. I just wanted to have Marlo's spot in the video for the most part. Nick tried to jump out of a tree. Didn't work out very well for him. I guess he was doing his best like hoedown impression of Ben Weiss. Climbing up on a tree, there's squirrels following him. You know, he's trying to angle up the right part for the bank, and he just jumps to flat like 2 times, and we went on our way. Cool spot though. It was like this bank spot that was surrounding like all areas, but you need to do so much work with waxing and getting that spot going. That would be, for us as not living there all the time, it's not really worth your time. So one spot that really stood out was this kind of like, we're just cruising down the street and there's just a gigantic cement wall with a fence that's like going down this little hill. And it had a hip, and we had originally gone there for the hip, but the way you had to hit it was you had to like kind of like go before it and jump over around the hip, and it just wouldn't have been a cool, like it wouldn't have turned out to be the way I wanted it to be. And I wanted to just like get a grind on there, and I did 2 little switch stalls, which I think what made it like acceptable in my eyes, that I was like going full speed at the thing, and like I actually put all my pressure into the trick to try to hold it as if I was sliding, so like giving you the illusion that like, you know, going fast, stopping your body weight, controlling your body weight to be able to hold it, control your body and jump back in, and not make it look like, you know, something wrong with you. But Nick got up onto the high piece, and sweet. He blasted down. I didn't think anybody was gonna be able to get up there, because it was really like, you're going all the way up a long bank and then jumping, and when you're doing that, you're just exhausting so much more energy. But I guess he had a hill. Did it twice. Which one do you like better, the fisheye or the long? I was gonna say I was partly on the fisheye one because I kind of blew it along. You always see amazing murals though when you're out in Baltimore, or even on the East Coast anywhere. There's just stuff littered everywhere.
Yeah!
%60 of my viewers are not subscribed to my videos. What are you doing? So this bank defense had a giant mural of a superhero. It said like, welcome to the superhero, or something along those lines. And just looking up at that, it's like, damn, somebody actually painted that like huge, that big, and that's overlooking this like incredible spot. There was people getting on and off the bus that were kind of sketchy, like eyeing you up, and we had a nice lady talking to us about how there was a skate park downtown, but I had no idea what she was talking about.
Yeah? I think I know which one you're talking about.
It's behind the school right there.
All right.
It's skateboard. I mean, it's not big, but it's...
But the amount of like random banks and cement obstacles that are in that place is just overwhelming. That's why we had to make 2 trips. That first trip was just that. And then we were just driving some more, and we found one of my enders actually from my first part. And it's just like a bank up to a very vertical wall. I wanted to go up and kind of like half cab wall ride and then like come back down. But like the more and more I was like jumping on, because it's sudden. It was like you ride up and it was like, you know what I mean? Like you had to lean really far back, or like kind of just like take it, and it stuck out a little bit past the thing. There was stuff sticking out on the wall, and the ground hurt really, really, really bad when you fell on it.
How you feeling? Hurt.
I kind of did a similar trick in an old video, so I kind of just took that emphasis and like, maybe if I could just ride up as high as I can and just make it happen. Got one and fell. I got one I was pretty happy with. Rode up on it, and then I kind of just like stopped, and you can kind of see my body just like kind of like let go of the wall and just like stay still, because I'm like, I am not losing this one at all, and take it. And I said like last video, maybe one of my favorite clips in the video, and I think that's like, it's one of those things. It's not a grind, it's not a gap, it's not a rail, it's just a wall and a bank, and combining the two is like, it's like money signs for me. Like that's what I like to skate. That's my favorite thing. But if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Consider joining us for another time.